Hello, VMS teachers. If you've made it this far with the critical rating process, that means you've done a great deal of marking your text with your students and some of the writing in the margins options, and you're ready to go further with some of the critical reading strategies that Avid provides. One of the natural progression from writing in the margins to kind of the next step to take their understanding and comprehension to the next level would be working on analyzing the evidence. So in the first step with marking the text, we talk about numbering paragraphs, keywords, and then claims, but it never dabbles with the evidence portion and the support that the author is giving for that claim. And that's what, as analyzing evidence, will help the students do. So with this step, if you can see, this document is also in your handouts. It is a way for the students to break down some of the pieces of evidence. If you see, it's broken into 3 sections. So the first section would be dealing with one piece of evidence, the second piece of evidence, and the third piece of evidence. And what it has the students do is determine what main 3 pieces of evidence support the author's claim in the text or article that you're having them read. So the first thing we would have students do is fill out the information in this top section, which is stuff that's already familiar to them through the marking process, and then have them choose their first piece of evidence from the text that supports the author's claim. They would paraphrase it in this box and then reference its location with the paragraph number, which should already be determined because that was step number 1 when they organized their article in numbering paragraphs. From there, they determine, well, what type of evidence is the author using here? Are they using some sort of research-based data? Are they getting a first-hand account from a person involved? Are they getting a summary of a study that was conducted? That information would go here. So you might need to provide them a little background information on the different types of evidence. It does give them options here to choose from as well. And then the big part is, why is the author using this evidence? Why did they put this data or this study or this person's opinion or story into their article to support their claim? That would go here. That's higher level processing for our students, but why is that evidence used to support what the author's main claim is? So they would end up doing that 3 times within their article to figure out, okay, I know what the author wants me to know, but how are they using evidence to support that idea? So what I would do is have them do this after they get done marking and kind of doing some of the basic processing. This would be the next thing that they would jump into. Now, I consider this kind of my brainstorm or my pre-writing phase to them actually writing a summary paragraph of the whole article or writing a rhetorical praise. If you go to your handouts, you will notice another one that is entitled Rhetorical Praise Writing Frame. This is a simple version of a rhetorical praise frame, the 4-sentence thing that was referenced in the video. But as you can see in the parentheses, it gives them ideas of what they need to be putting in. And then here, he or she supports this claim by first, and this is where they would enter in those pieces of evidence that they analyzed on the previous chart. So it helps guide their writing when they're creating that summary of the key points and the evidence the author is using. And it helps the students' writing seem more sophisticated, more higher level. It shows them what it should sound like if they have all the proper pieces there. Also, if you go back to your analyzing evidence, if you scroll down a little bit farther, there's also a template from Avid. There's a few different versions, but it's essentially all the same 4 pieces that you heard in the video. And then they kind of break it down here even more simplistically. Here, when they do their rhetorical praise, they have you put in your 3-point source integration as part 1. So the students already have that done in their marking step if you did the 3-point source integration. Then they jump into analyzing the evidence and how are they advancing the argument through evidence. And so the student can take the 3 pieces of evidence from their boxes on the evidence chart and then simply put that into words here. And it formulates a very concise, well-written, sophisticated summary of the overall text from the author, and then also finishes up with directing them to who's the audience intended for this text. So that's kind of a quick overview of analyzing a text for evidence and then bringing it into the writing phase of using it to write a rhetorical précis or even an argument summary. Another very simple template you could use is something just like this, very basic, but it has all the key components of it. It starts with the basic citation information, the main claim, and then the support. That's a key word. Here she supports this claim by, and then it dives into those evidence pieces, okay, and ends up with the intended audience. So after watching this video, I hope you have a better understanding of what can I do next if my students are ready to move beyond just simple marking into more of summarizing and the writing piece that kind of follows up a text that you might be using in your classroom. Feel free to ask me any questions at any point throughout the year. If you are wanting to use this but you're not quite sure how it fits, I'd be happy to answer questions. Thank you.